Hello and welcome to another episode of the HT Physio Quick Tips series. My name is Harlow and I'm the Over-Fifties Specialist Physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And in today's video, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the rotator cuff. We're going to be talking about what it is and what it is that it actually helps us to do. So a lot of people have heard of the rotator cuff. And the rotator cuff is a structure that lives within the shoulder. Okay, so a lot of people will say, I've got shoulder pain. I looked it up online and the first thing that came up was a rotator cuff problem. And these people are right, rotator cuff problems are very, very common. But not many people actually understand what they are, because it takes a little bit of time and a bit of an explanation to realise what this thing actually is and what it does. So I've got my shoulder model here. So I'm going to be talking to you about the rotator cuff and we're going to be looking about how it helps us to move. So this is the human shoulder, and you've got your collarbone here, you've got your arm bone here, the humerus, okay, so this is the bone that makes up your upper arm, and then here we have what we call the scapula, which is your shoulder blade. So if we turn this round, you can see that the shoulder blade at the back, it has something on it called the spine of the scapula, and these three bones basically fit together, and they are what constitute shoulder movement. So when we move our shoulder, this arm will come forward if we lift it, this will come out to the side if we go like that, and we can also rotate it. So we can do this where the arm moves out to the side, and we can obviously combine these movements to do funny things with our shoulders. So we can go up behind our back, or we can reach behind us like that, or we can reach across us. And the shoulder is the most mobile joint in the body. You can see that it's so mobile, and one of the reasons it is so mobile is because it fits together with something called a ball and socket joint. So here we have the socket, which is on the scapula, so that's like a cup, and here we have the ball, which is on the humerus, the arm bone. So they fit together like that. And unlike a knee, which just goes forward and back, the shoulder joint can go in many different directions, just like I demonstrated a moment ago. Now, because it can move in so many directions, it's important that the shoulder doesn't have too many ligaments that secure it in place. If we had lots of ligaments, which are the things that join bone to bone, our shoulders would be really stiff. So we would have a nice secure joint, but not much movement. And if you know anything about human evolution, you'll know that we evolved from hunters. So the way we used to hunt back in caveman days would be to throw. So we'd throw spears, we'd throw stones, and we needed very mobile upper limbs in order to help us do that. Now, because the shoulder can't have too many ligaments, it still needs to be secure. So it still needs something else to secure it. And instead of ligaments, it needs something more dynamic. And that dynamic thing turns out to be muscles. So we have more muscles around the shoulder that help us control the movement of the joint than we do in any other joint in the body. And one of these groups of muscles is called the rotator cuff, okay? So the rotator cuff is basically a group of 4 very small muscles that helps us to keep the arm in the socket, okay? So without the rotator cuff, the arm would just fall out. We wouldn't be able to lift the arm, we wouldn't be able to rotate the arm, it just wouldn't be stable, it would be falling all over the place, we wouldn't be able to generate power, and our arms would just be useless. So rotator cuff is very important, and you have 4 muscles. One of them lives here, one of them lives here on the back, one of them lives up here, and the other one joins this part of the scapula up underneath the arm. And those are the 4 muscles, but the things that make up the cuff itself are the tendons that join those muscles to the bone. So we call the rotator cuff because it looks like a cuff. You can see it on this diagram here, okay? So it's this jelly-like substance, and you can see that it wraps all the way around this ball and socket joint. So it keeps these bones attached to the muscles that live here, okay? Now, the reason people are so interested in the rotator cuff is because it's very common to get problems here. And the types of problems that people get are inflammation or tears in the tendon that join the cuff to the bone. Now, it's very common to get this, and one of the reasons people get this, we think, is just because of a few design faults when it comes to human tendons. They tend to be very responsive to different levels of stress and strain and very prone to overuse. So for people who do lots of overhead work, or for people who do lots of repetitive tasks like DIY, they are prone to getting, first of all, inflammation around the cuff, and then sometimes little tears and nicks in the cuff. Now, these symptoms can come on as pain here, typically sort of at the front of the shoulder and at the side of the shoulder. It can be an achy arm, it can be your shoulder wanting to sit forward, it can be pain when you lift, it can even, in extreme cases, be problems actually lifting the arm away from the side. And these can all be symptoms of rotator cuff problems. Now, luckily, because tendons are dynamic structures, they usually have the potential to heal, providing you do all the right things. So if you're starting to get some shoulder symptoms and you think you might have a rotator cuff problem, the best thing you can do is to get some early advice, because these problems can usually be fixed. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I just wanted to give you a bit of a background about the rotator cuff. It's a very important structure. It keeps the arm in the socket. Without it, we would be useless, but it's also prone to some problems. So if you're getting arm pain, you're not really sure what caused it and it's not going away, do feel free to reach out, because we'd be more than happy to take a look and see how we might be able to help. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like some more information about certain common injuries and how to prevent them, I have my new book available on Amazon, Thriving Beyond 50. It has plenty of strategies and bits of advice just like this to get your injuries better and to prevent things from popping up in the future. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit like underneath it and to subscribe to the channel so you'll get future videos delivered to you. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time and I look forward to speaking to you on the next video.